Alright, yeah, I was wrong. It's not gonna go the way I thought. It's just gonna be bad. So pretty much all my notes for this episode are just me slowly realizing that this really is going to be as bad as everyone was saying. I guess I was holding on to some last rays of hope that they were gonna pull it out. You know, they were gonna pull it off, making Cersei feel like the villain this all needed, making the stakes, building it up, but we only have a couple more episodes and they have accomplished none of that. Half of my notes are like just technical things wrong, like with the funeral pyres outside of Winterfell. There were not nearly enough bodies. Like there was only like a couple hundred tops, and yet they said like half the Unsullied were dead and most of the Dothraki. By the way, spoiler-filled review of the episode, obviously. And also, apparently there's half the people remaining, which is also surprising to me, because after the Battle of Winterfell, I was thinking like 90% of their forces were gone. But even though we saw none of the Dothraki return at any point, except for like a 2 or 3 guys running away, they still have a decent force. And yeah, Bran did nothing during the Battle of Winterfell. He just went into some crows. I was expecting to get some explanation, but Bran is just useless again this episode. In fact, I would classify him as officially entering one of the worst character arcs and just overall characters I've seen in recent memory, full stop, because apparently he was doing nothing the whole time. Nothing at all. Just doing that. It's just so frustrating because there are still rays of excellence shining through. There's still moments and visuals, like the cinematography for Game of Thrones is, aside from the dark issues and the dark scenes, still spectacular. Their framing and communication to the audience with the camera is really great. It's really next level, but with the writing suffering, I guess I was really giving with the Battle of Winterfell because the people complaining about the tactics used. Almost all battles put on TV in medieval settings have terrible tactics. People even claim like the Lord of the Rings, Helm's Deep, and Minas Tirith battles have great tactics. No, they don't, because the sieging forces didn't put out protecting parties around to let people know if there are reinforcements coming, which is like a basic thing of sieging that you do, and the excuse that they're orc is dumb. Even orc would know how to do that. And with the Rohirrim cavalry riding in, how would they not see the Elephants coming, or at least scout that out, and once again have scouts? Like, they don't use the most basic thing in warfare in Lord of the Rings, scouts. So I don't know, I'm giving with tactical battle errors when it comes to TV shows, because it's just like they're all fairly terrible. And the last episode didn't have a whole lot of dialogue, so the dialogue issue wasn't super prevalent. And this episode's dialogue wasn't all bad. There were certain lines that I did like, but my biggest problem here is apparently fast travel's a thing in Westeros now. There's been a few examples of this leading up, but now it's just like things happening like this. And there's time jumps happening apparently that are pretty huge that I'm questioning how they line up looking at a Westeros map. Let's focus on some positives. Tormund made me laugh. I legitimately laughed at some things Tormund did. Cool. I liked the usage of Tyrion saying not a Stark. That was nice. It made Sansa's plans really start becoming clear, and, you know, as a viewer you can look at that and go, oh, this is gonna now happen. Cool communication without anything being exactly spelled out, except for just looking at Sansa's face when that's said and you're like, oh, she's gonna start doing schemey things. But I guess these last few episodes, I was focusing on the good and I was excusing the bad, because I really am pulling for this show to pull it off. But with how few episodes remain and where we stand now, I don't see it happening, really. Like, we have, how many hours of content to wrap up all of this? And there were just character-breaking moments with Cersei where I was like, she wouldn't do that. Do you really think Cersei, if she knew the enemy queen was right there with a small force and she had a massive advantage with all these men with bows and ballistas, she wouldn't just absolutely massacre that force like she absolutely has the ability to at that moment and kill that dragon? Really? Because I'm pretty sure the Cersei we've been shown to this point absolutely fucking would. Yeah, the writing's tanking, the dialogue's bad. I excuse the last episode because, as I said, the cinematography and communication with the audience shined through in Winterfell, and I didn't have trouble seeing it on my screen. Sorry to those of you who did. So I liked that. It was still an engaging battle and the best I've ever seen on television in terms of technical scale. And in the back of my head, I was salivating over the fact that future fantasy adaptations will now have to live up to this. So I was like, cool, Yeah, the tactics make absolutely no sense, but at least the battle is on a scale and is depicted visually well enough that the audience can be engaged. But as soon as it's not about the spectacle, this show just seems to have no idea where it's going or what's going on. If you look at the r/freefolk subreddit right now, it's full of people posting things where the actors involved with the show are kind of like asked, oh, how's it in? Do you like it? And they're just like... What's really confusing to me is apparently George R. Martin is still involved with the writing. I don't know how that's the case. This was a series I was polling for to have a Breaking Bad level ending, something that would just pull it out on top, and I officially think that would be impossible at this point because seasons are hard to get off the ground, and I thought maybe this was just having trouble getting off the ground, but we're more than halfway done now, so you can't, too late. You failed to launch. You're not off the ground. Anyway, that's my extraordinarily disappointed thoughts for the latest Game of Thrones episode. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Am I wrong? Did you love it? Did you think it was a total redemption episode? Did you hate it? Let me know, because I really was trying to look on the bright side. I was trying to shift my focus onto what they were doing right. But it's like I was staring at a painting, and suddenly this other painting just came and slapped me in the face and was like, no, you will pay attention to these bad aspects of it too. So yeah, there's no real going back. I'll continue these episode reviews until the very end because I feel I'm a completionist. I started this. I will finish it out, but I am not having high hopes here, and that's really disappointing because it feels like these characters who were done so well up until a certain point are not being done justice anymore. Anyway, guys, like and subscribe if you have not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here, and have a good one, y'all. Peace!